Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple CTO David Schwartz opens up about NSA past as Satoshi CIA theories resurface. So we all know that Tucker Carlson recently said he won't invest into Bitcoin because it was created by the CIA. And right away, XRP community members said, no, it was created by the NSA. And David Schwartz is Satoshi. So someone once again asked, David, out of curiosity, when does your NDA for the NSA expire? David said, I have no idea. They didn't let me keep a copy, and I don't remember if I ever even knew. I just hope nobody really cares anymore. Plus, I never really knew anything all that secret. We're never going to hear David come out and tell you that he is Satoshi. He said the things he was working on were pretty boring. In his words, one of the only requirements he saw was making sure systems could shut down classified data processing if control was lost, a directive that sounded paradoxical even to him. Schwartz also told an anecdote about seeing his own work appear unexpectedly on the Discovery Channel, which was how he learned one of his projects was in actual use. He later explained that the same code had been applied for NATO purposes before being adopted for the NSA, though the final uses were pretty boring. He doesn't go on to talk about if he was Satoshi Nakamoto. But everybody in the XRP community has speculated on this at one time or another. And let's get back to that. So Dom from EZA, he said, it's easy for maxis to dismiss Tucker Carlson's Bitcoin comments as clueless, but his point is one shared by many. Most people won't invest in something whose creator is unknown. Whenever I speak to people outside of crypto, this is one of the first questions they ask: who created Bitcoin? Most people here are used to the idea that no one knows who created Bitcoin. But if you really stop and think about it, it's pretty odd. When was the last time you invested your money in a company or stock, even though you didn't know who created or runs it? This is going to be a problem for institutional investors investing into Bitcoin. Because you got to remember, Satoshi, the mysterious creator of Bitcoin, also holds 1.1 million Bitcoin. And who's to say he doesn't start dumping all that Bitcoin as soon as right now? Nobody knows if that could ever happen. Now, the Bitcoin maxis will say he's never going to sell off his Bitcoin. He knows that it's God's money and blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is this: a lot of institutions are not going to get involved with something or invest their clients' funds into something unless they know who created it, or if they could be assured that the creator doesn't drop 1.1 million Bitcoin onto the open market, crashing out the price. It's a bigger deal than people think. Jack Mallers is the one that's pushing the idea that nobody cares who created Bitcoin. I think a lot more people care than he would like to know. Bitcoin whales are dumping coins for BlackRock's ETF to lock in bigger profits, leaving doubts about their true belief in Bitcoin as an asset. This comes from Smoke, and of course, it's documented. By exchanging their Bitcoin for ETF shares, investors can keep the same stake in the cryptocurrency while moving it into a form the financial system recognizes. inside a brokerage account. That holding can be pledged as collateral, borrowed against, or included in estate plans. Things that are cumbersome, risky, and impossible when assets sit in a private digital wallet. So we're going to see more Bitcoin end up in the hands of BlackRock, as even the biggest Bitcoin whales out there are dumping their coins into so that they can get invested into ETFs instead. And I thought this was great. Fixed it. So you see XRP number 1, ETH, Bitcoin, Solana, and so on. Screenshot from 2035. You know, by 2035, I think the top 10 is going to look a lot different. I think you're going to see a lot of these utility-driven cryptocurrencies in the top 10. Most likely by then, Bitcoin will be irrelevant. Solana will still be talked about, but with all the network downtime, it'll continue to push down and out of the top 10 eventually. You got to remember, we are on the verge of a new financial system, and only a handful of cryptocurrencies are going to be part of that system. ETH, Bitcoin, Solana, they're not going to be part of that system. QNT, XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, IOTA, ADA, those are the future. Over 567,000 XRP and micro XRP futures contracts have been created on CME Group just 5 months after the XRP-based product launched on the exchange. You could see the demand for XRP. XRP crushes $29.6 billion milestone on CME. That's huge. And this is eventually going to show up in the price of XRP. With CME disclosing plans to offer 24/7 trading of crypto futures and options starting early next year, the demand for XRP-based products is expected to reach unprecedented levels, potentially positioning XRP for a major rally. The move will provide institutional investors on CME more avenues and extended trading hours to access both existing and newly launched options contracts tied to XRP. This is something that's going to continue to bring more and more value to this cryptocurrency over time. And I got to remind you of this again. As of now, there are 11 XRP treasury companies, and you see them right there. How many treasury companies do you think we're going to see going throughout 2026? How many treasury companies do you think are going to begin once the XRP price really starts to break out? Because remember, right now, XRP is sitting around $2.50. Wait until it's sitting above $5. And we have these companies wanting to get more and more of that XRP off the open market. And it starts to get locked away for long periods of time. Scarcity is absolutely coming for XRP. It is going to happen. Congresswoman Maxine Waters blasts Trump pardon of crypto criminal. She's talking about Trump pardoning Binance founders CZ. Now remember, this is the same Maxine Waters that was doing this right here.
From a prior testimony, look at that. That's the guardian of your financial services. House Financial Services Chair right there, guardian of your financial services world right there, blowing kisses to an accused criminal.
That's Maxine Waters blowing kisses to Sam Bankman-Fried. Remember when that happened? Right before the crash of FTX. But now she's condemning Trump for giving a pardon to CZ. What CZ did was nowhere near what Sam Bankman-Fried did, in my opinion. I mean, there was fraud there as well, but it was not at a level that took out so many people's life savings. And that's what happened with FTX. But these people, they don't look at this. You know, these politicians are so quick to point their finger at somebody else. And I know a lot of people don't like the fact that CZ got a pardon as well. I've seen it all over X all day long. But here's the way I look at it. If CZ got a pardon, other people got pardons in the past that a lot of people don't agree with. And we're going to see that even going into the future. I look at it like this. Sam Bankman-Fried definitely should not have gotten a pardon, no. And there's even talk of that happening now as well. You know, people lost everything with the fall of FTX. They're finally starting to be made whole. But there's no way in hell you could blow kisses at Sam Bankman-Fried and then point the finger at Trump for giving CZ a pardon. That's just my opinion. Upside being predicted by Raw Paul. Take a listen to this.
Seasonality. We're at a really good point in the seasonality chart. And you would imagine that we are now diverging from this because of the, repeat after me, the Treasury General Account and the government shutdown. Once that comes back in, we start climbing the curve to the end of the year. Does it start in November and we play catch up? Either way, we should have a back end of the year that's very strong.
So he's saying once the government reopens, we should see this market really start to break out. I agree with that because I think the government reopening is going to bring more stability to crypto because now everything could get back on track with the market structure bill. We're going to be back on track for a new date for the ETFs to go live for XRP. And I think that could build up momentum again in this space. EU targets Russia's stablecoin network in sweeping new sanctions. Like I said, they're taking the lead off of the United States. The U.S. just put sanctions on Russia as well. I look at it like this. Russia and the rest of the BRICS countries, they're already looking for an alternative to SWIFT. This is just going to fast track Russia's central bank digital currency. It's going to fast track the BRICS on building out their payment system. And I think it's all leading back to what we're holding, XRP. Because within BRICS, XRP is a great solution. It's a trust layer. It's a bridge currency. They could send money back and forth utilizing XRP and RippleNet technology. Remember, the BRICS were handed mBridge from the BIS. mBridge was built totally around RippleNet and XRP. So as long as they keep sanctioning Russia, I think this is just going to fast track things even more. Watch how quick we start to have to play catch up to Russia once they announce their payment system is only a few months away or a few weeks away. Then right away, everybody else will say, now's the time we have to get this done. We need to get this done by the end of this year. That's how it works. Back in 2022, Russia announced the central bank digital currency. And right after that, the digital euro was all the talk. The U.S. was talking about a digital dollar, central bank digital currency back then. Everybody was talking about speeding up the timeline. I think we're about to see the same thing happen again. 2030 is no longer the year. I'm telling you that right now. This is all going to be in place by 2028. Any time frame that you see, even tokenization, they're still talking about 2030. 5 years from now, everything will be on chain. Everything's going to be on chain, most likely by 2028. You're going to see the rise of tokenization as soon as we get regulations. We are that close as XRP holders to getting true financial freedom. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.